Hello and welcome to another video. I was tagged by the lovely Flo over at the Grape Jelly Library to do the If I Had a Bookstore tag, which was created by Robert G, reader of books, and of course I'll link both of their videos down below. Before doing this tag, I didn't want to be influenced by anybody else's answers, so I didn't watch any of their videos or even read all the prompts before sitting down to film this, because I thought it would be fun to think of all the answers on the fly. So with that said, let's get into the prompts. So of course these questions are just going to be talking about what I would do if I owned my own bookstore. And question number one is, what are the hours of operation? Now, I've actually thought about this before. I have thought about, maybe one day opening up a little bookstore cafe. So I might already have some answers to these questions, and this is one of them. If I had my own bookstore, I would want it to be a late night cafe slash bookstore for the night owls who just can't wait until the next day to finish their book. And I would want to be open long enough that the morning commute people can also stop in. So I think my hours would be, let's say, midnight to 8 a.m. I think that would be a good place to start. Question two is there ambient music? And if so, what kind? Of course, there's going to be ambient music here. What could be fun? I think I like the idea of an ambient jukebox, where customers can go and put in a quarter and be able to pick whatever ambient sound they feel like playing. And I think it'd be really fun if the jukebox options were based on the vibe of your book. So you could choose between things like dark academia or witchy books or vampire, epic fantasy, sci-fi, something like that, and it'll play some ambient music based on the vibe that you choose. I think that would be a really fun idea. Question three is there a coffee bar and do you serve alcohol? Of course there is coffee. This is going to be a cafe slash bookstore, and I think I would also serve alcohol. I think a series of bookish themed cocktails and mocktails would be a fun little addition to have, but of course coffee and tea is always going to be my biggest focus, and no instant nonsense. It would absolutely be like the fanciest coffee and loose leaf tea imported from cool places all over the world. Question four is, are patrons encouraged to linger? Are there comfortable chairs? What kind of lighting? Are there tables? Are there areas for group gatherings? And in my bookstore, absolutely. The whole point of my cafe bookstore is for people to sit and enjoy their books for as long as they so choose. So I would like to have low lighting, no big lights ever. I would love to have a series of warm lamps all over the place. And of course, free book lights for people who need a bit more lighting. As for seating, nothing but the comfiest chairs all over the place. Really big, deep cushions, all mismatched, different colors and different textures. I myself love a velvet couch, but some people hate the feeling of velvet, so I would love to have different kinds of materials to accommodate different sensory needs. And of course, pillows and blankets galore, as well as a mixture of seating for one, love seats for friends or couples who want to come hang out together, as well as some larger like sectionals maybe for bigger groups of friends who want to come and have a slumber party sort of vibe. And we'll throw in a handful of proper tables and chairs for people who want to eat or if they want to get some work done, if they're writing or need to work on their computer. Question five is there live entertainment like poetry readings, author readings from their current works, lectures in literature, and that kind of thing? And yes, absolutely. I think it'd be really cool to maybe once a week host some kind of event. I would love to focus especially on local indie authors or poets and also artists as well. I love slam poetry as well. That'd be really fun to host. Maybe occasional karaoke or open mic night, but that would be more rare because this is meant to be a very quiet, cozy sort of place. Question six is, where is your bookstore located? Is it in the busy heart of a large city, in a neighborhood of a large city, in a suburban strip mall, in a small town, or in a rural area? I currently live in a mid-sized city, but honestly I kind of hate this city, so if I were to actually open this bookstore, I would want it to be in the heart of the queer community in Toronto. The Church and Wellesley area is called The Village in Toronto, and that is the center for queer nightlife. So I think it would be really cool to have a spot that is open late night for people who want to go out on, say, a Friday night but aren't really into the nightlife club scene, and also be a space where queer people can go and have outings with their friends on the weekend that is not centered around alcohol. That is a huge issue within a lot of communities, but especially in the queer community, where the vast majority of queer events are centered around alcohol, which is not accessible for a lot of people. So I think it'd be really cool to have a space that is very much the opposite of a nightlife sort of setting. Question seven is, how does your bookstore look from the outside? Is it sleek and modern or dark and brooding? I would want my bookstore to look like a forest witch just magicked their house into the middle of a city. So I'm thinking dark red brick with ivy vines crawling all over it, and then these big windows that have plants and dried flowers hanging from the windows, and beautiful warm light spilling out onto the street in the nighttime. Question 8 is, what kind of books are your specialty? Are they used books, new, mixture of both? And does your bookstore specialize specialize in a certain genre. Y'all know me, it's gotta be queer, especially if I'm planning on having this bookstore in the queer center of Toronto. And myself being largely a fantasy, sci-fi, and romance reader, I would of course stock all sorts of genres and not just queer books, but it would mostly be focused on queer fantasy, sci-fi, and romance just to suit my own needs. Because of course my bookstore would be basically just my own gigantic library that others are welcome to come and choose from. Either just to sit and read them for a few hours and put it back on the shelf and act more like a library, or also up for purchase too. Either is fine. But of course I would have selections for all sorts of genres. Things like queer history and memoirs from our queer elders would be very important to me to have on our shelves. And I'd be open for requests as well. I would love for my customers to ask me to bring in certain books and be able to do that for them as well. And finally, question 9 is, what is the name of your bookstore? And I think I would call my bookstore One More Chapter, because I'm sure there are a million of us out there who have stayed up far too late because you just want to read one more chapter before going to bed, and then all of a sudden the sun is coming up and you finish the whole book. I think that name would really fit the vibe of this place. So that is the If I Had My Own Bookstore tag. Thank you so much to Flo for tagging me in this. This was really fun to do. I can't wait to finally go and watch your video now that I've done mine. Again, I will leave the videos linked down below for you to go and check out as well. And if you would like to do this tag, then consider yourself tagged. If you don't want to make a whole video about it, then in the comment, answer some of the questions down below. I would love to hear about what kind of bookstore you would make, and let me know if you would come to mine. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you're all having a fantastic day wherever you are in the world, and I will catch you in the next video.